Hello again, this is Joe from HomeStudioCorner.com. We're talking more about getting it right at the source. Today I want to talk about the performance. Now there's a lot that goes into the performance, but we got to talk about it because that is, if there was anything that is the most important source, I would say this would be it. So what am I talking about performance? I'm talking about the actual musical performance of the musician that you use. Now there's a couple of aspects to performance that we're going to talk about in a couple separate videos because I think it's that important. But the very first part of it is the performer himself or herself. This may sound weird and this may not be an option for you, but your performance is only going to be as good as the performer. And so what I'm getting at there is if you have a song or a part that needs to be recorded, you're at the mercy of however talented or gifted or skilled that performer that you choose is. If it's you, then you need to be realistic about what you can and can't do. For me, I'm not a great guitar soloist. I can get out a simple solo, and a lot of times that works, but if I need something that's over the top of really like, hey, look at me guitar solo, I'm not the guy for that. I need to find somebody else. Or maybe I write a song and it's working really well. It's just the key of the song, it just doesn't sit well with my voice. But if I change the key, the energy of the song isn't working as well, then I know, well, maybe it's not a song for me, it's for somebody else. Or maybe you're working with a band and there's a guitarist and he's, bless his heart, he's a super sweet guy. He just can't hold time. So maybe he's a bass player. Maybe you need to have someone else play bass. Maybe that's the solution because if he's not a good player, the tone that you get isn't going to be great, and obviously the timing's not going to be great either. So you're going to be left with trying to fix it in the mix. And remember, we don't want to fix things in the mix. We want to get it right at the source. So if the source, Mr. Crappy bass player over here, doesn't sound good, we need to replace him. Now I understand that's not always possible, and there's a lot of politics involved with replacing instrumentalists, but I promise you it's completely worthwhile. And maybe the simplest way to approach that is to look at yourself. Try not to play everything yourself. If you're not a great piano player, just don't play it. Find somebody else who is. And I think your recordings will start to have this new level of awesome to them because instead of one person doing a bunch of things in a mediocre way, you have several different people doing a very specific thing in a very creative and inspiring way. And that's going to just kind of lift up the overall energy and quality of the song just by doing that one simple thing. So the performance is important. The performer is even more important. Got to get those things right if you want to get it right at the source.